Hello everyone. How is everyone doing today? I hope everyone is having a lovely day. Today we are going to continue talking about the Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. I have just finished volume 4 and I will say it's a lot. There is a lot to talk about, and there are a lot of spoilers. So most of these are like turning points with the series. So I'm going to be honest, I will try not to spoil things as possible, but if you haven't read this, I suggest you go and read this first before coming to watch this review, because I am interested to see what you guys think of what happened in volume 4, because there is a lot, I will say that. And also, for disclaimers, Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation is 17 plus, and it's got so it has mentions of sex, it has blood, it has swearing, it has major deaths as well as mentions of the R word. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, R word, and many other things as well that could be considered triggering. So this is a warning as well, particularly with this book. Oh dear God. So first and foremost, it starts off with a meeting. So the Land Jade twins, Lan Shan and Xiang, decide to go to the Golden Cup Tower, which is held by the Jin clan of Lanling, to have a meeting. And guess what the meeting is about? Yes, Wei Wuxian, because he had done something that naturally a lot of people did not like. So this is happening after Sunshot campaign. Wen clan is officially down, like they completely defeated the Wen clan, but the way the Jin clan, specifically the Jin clan and many other smaller clans that follows the Jin clan goes about it is very wrong. So they assume that every single person from the Wen clan is just evil, and so they end up kidnapping a lot of women, a lot of children, a lot of elderly people, anyone who, whether they are cultivators or non-cultivators, they immediately think, oh, you're part of Wen clan, then you're instantly evil, so you should be tortured or killed, which is not the way to go about it. Wei Wuxian knows this and decided to rescue every innocent person from the Wen clan and to go off into Burial Mount to make a home for themselves, just to survive, essentially. They are not welcomed in anywhere in the world, so they would have to go to Burial Mount to make a home for them, make it like a nice little village. And it's a sweet little village. You know, they were building houses, they were trying to find ways to produce the food. Burial Mount is like a corpse garden. There's like so many corpses buried in there, so people would think that it'd be very, very hard to grow food in there, which is quite understandable, but they managed, and it turned out okay. It's hard, but you know, they're surviving, especially for the fact that there is a child there as well, who is just a sweet, happy-go-lucky child. But back to the meeting, they do not like how Wei Wuxian go about it, by the fact that he decided to save people that were from the Wen clan, so they immediately see him as a villain, immediately see him as an enemy. But there is one person who is willing to stand up against the guys in the meeting. Do you remember back in the cave, fighting a giant, where Wen Chao forces everyone to beat up this giant monster turtle, and he was quite infatuated with the maid from Jin clan called Mian Mian, and his mistress didn't like it, so she tries to brand her face. So she was the one who actually stood up for Wei Wuxian. She says, listen, this is a war. So technically what he did was not wrong. So people have been saying that he has been incoherently killing everyone, just murdering for no reason. And she's standing here going, technically we were all doing that. I mean, we were in a war, which is, she makes a fair point. So technically he wasn't incoherently killing if everyone else was doing it in the middle of a war, and everyone was really against her. Like, they were shouting at her, they were insulting her. If somebody else had said the same thing, like Lan Wangji, everyone would have been dead silent. But no, because she's a female maid, they think they have every excuse to not just disagree with her argument. You can disagree with her argument, but they were also shouting at her face and personally insulting her by saying, oh, she's defending him because he saved her that one time. And she's like, no, I'm just stating the facts here. And she does not like how she was being disrespected, rightfully. So she took off the robes that has the Jin clan emblem on them and threw them on the ground and walked off. Rightfully so. She is away from that, which I don't blame her. And Lan Wangji was being caught talking to her outside after the meeting. We don't know what they were talking about. I presume it's him wishing her well, but you know what? I was super proud of Mian Mian. Good for her. I love her. Yeah, I love the women here who shows different strengths. So either with words, with physicality, or knowing what's right or what's wrong, and standing up for what she believes in. I really love that. There's not much women here, particularly strong women, but they have quality. I really love the female characters here. So moving on, it does focus on the past not just between Jin Sichuan and Jiang Yanli, but also their son. So while Wei Wuxian is busy trying to get survivors of the Wen clan to build to survive, to build a respectable home, respectable village. Wenning is there. Wenning is a, I don't want to say Wei Wuxian's puppet. He died, but he's back to life. But he's okay. He's pretty cool. He's there with Wenqing as well. So they're all trying to survive. And then Jiang Cheng came and wanted him to go and see Jiang Yanli, their sister, to see her dressed in a very nice red gown. Now, in China, red is the color that brides wear. I don't know about grooms, but brides wear in their wedding. So red was the color for the wedding. I don't know why, but he saw her in a very nice red dress and instantly knew that she was going to get married to Jin Sichuan. He did not like that at first, but he was very happy for her. And I really, really like. And if you watch the show as well, Jiang Yanli looked very, very beautiful, very, very pretty. And so they got married. And then they end up getting a firstborn son named Jinling. and whereas everything is trying to set up for the first month celebration. I don't know much about the first month celebration. I presume that it's because on the first month, babies are always vulnerable and could be prone to sickness and death. So the first month is probably like a very big deal and it's worth celebrating. That's what I assume, essentially. If I'm wrong, do comment down below, because I'm always willing to learn more about if there is a Chinese culture within these books. So if it's cool if that is the case. So they were they were sorting everything out, and Wei Wuxian has been invited to Jinling's first month celebration. Unfortunately, with him and Wenning as he about to go, they were ambushed by I really hate this character, Jin Zixuan's cousin, Jin Zixun. And he blames Wei Wuxian without any proof, that he was being put a curse of 1,000 holes. Like, it was a very weird curse. He showed that there were lots of different holes around his body. But Wei Wuxian's like, no, I did not curse you. I did not do that to you. When would I have ever done that to you? But if you want to blame me, go right ahead. And then there was a immediate fight. So Jin Zixun obviously didn't believe him, willing to start an ambush, and Wenning was fighting the Jin clan of Lanling cultivators. This was around the time when Jin Zixuan decided to step in and try to make peace with the matter, because he did say that he was the one that invited Wei Wuxian to the first month celebration, because he knew that that's what Yan Li would have wanted, which is fair enough, absolutely. So he did the right thing on that front. But unfortunately, something went wrong with Wenning that not even Wei Wuxian can put into what has happened. And it caused him to, yeah. Let's just say that Jinling is not gonna have a father anymore. I did say there will be spoilers. It's unavoidable to the spoilers are quite unavoidable because there was a lot going on. But yeah, that's what happened. Something happened with Wenning, but out of Wei Wuxian's control, and Jin Zixuan was murdered. So it was Jin Zixun as well, but Jin Zixuan, yes, that was a moment where everything had gone wrong for Wei Wuxian, because that was another thing to blame Wei Wuxian about, even though it was out of his control or under somebody else's control. Either way, Wei Wuxian didn't tell Wenning to kill Jin Zixuan, and poor Zixuan did tell him to go to Yan Li because, she's waiting for him, and that is true. And yeah, I do feel a bit sad. I do really like Jin Zixuan. I do like his character progression. I really do. At first, I thought that he was a snob. He thinks he's righteous. In a technically way, he does think that. He thinks that he can do no wrong, that he is perfect. But he is, when it comes to Yan Li, he gets very awkward. He doesn't know what to say. He doesn't know what to do. One thing I do like about Jin Zixuan is that he does care about his maids, definitely. He does care about his servants. So at one point, remember I said I think I said this about the last book, that he scolded Yan Li for trying to take the servant's credit and thinks that she should do more things with dignity. Now, there was a misunderstanding. He was wrong into scolding Yan Li like that, But I do respect what he is saying. I do understand what he's saying. He does respect the servant's work. So that's more than I can say about the other cultivators. So yeah. But I do like his character progression. He ends up becoming nicer. He does respect Wei Wuxian. He does love his wife. He's very proud of his son. You know, he's a proud father, and if he hadn't died, he would have been a great clan leader, I'm sure, but it didn't work out in his favor. So that was bad. That was bad. Oh, you know what? I didn't show you the cover. I've meant to show you the cover. Here you go. Also, this is super pretty. I do really love this cover. It's so cute. And I hardly show the back, but this back is also very cute. You can see here is Yan Li with Jinling, her baby. This is Jiang Cheng, her brother with Zidian. That Zidian is his web. So I really love this art style. And also this cute picture. I love it to bits. We're going to talk about that as well. I think that's the next what's happened on the book. So what happened is that it's now Lang Wenji. At some point, Lang Wenji, I don't know who visited him first, Wei Wuxian first, either Lan Wenji or Jiang Chen, but at some point, Lan Wenji did visit Wei Wuxian in burial mounds, and they were this child, the little boy, ends up being very attached to him. And his name is Yuan or Wenyuan. I'll call him Yuan because they always call him Yuan. But Yuan is always like, whenever, it's so cute. Whenever he's like into someone, he's like attached to their leg, like hugging them, and it's so cute. And he did that with Lang Wanji, and I don't think he's used to that. So I thought that was super duper cute. But then we see their kind of see what their like relationship is like a little bit. I think Lan Wanji kind of respects what Wei Wuxian was doing, so he was all for supporting what he's trying to do, like helping the Wen clan survivors, particularly if there was a child involved. So he's happy to be there for Wei Wuxian and for the child, and to buying him like little toys, and also trying to help them. So that was a really sweet moment. I do love that moment very much. I think it's so cute. But yeah, I think he was a little sad that Wei Wuxian decided to pick that path, but obviously very respects it as well. Then we move on to the even more battle. So there has been a lot of puppets going on, and people think that Wei Wuxian was the one that's a cause for all of these puppets. But as far as I know, the only puppet that he has control of was Wen Ning. I mean, he did use a lot of puppets when it comes to taking down Wen Chao. But around that point, he seemed to only control Wen Ning, and Wen Ning seems to be a very decent corpse. A very, very weird thing to say. Like, he speaks respectfully, he does things respectfully, he does cute things, like when Yan Li gives him a bowl of soup, he tries to protect it at all costs. Like, it's very cute. So even though he has control of Wen Ning, he never does anything bad unless it's absolutely necessary in his self-defense. And whenever he does try to defend himself, he gets blamed. He seems to be getting blamed for everything, poor Wei Wuxian. But no, there's been a lot of puppet outbreak lately. And Wei Wuxian, and there's a big battle. This was around the time when in Jin Sichuan's funeral, and then during that time, I was exceedingly confused. Yan Li was in the middle of the battlefield, and I don't know. She had a small injury. at one point, and then somebody was willing to stab away Wu Zhan, and then she pushes him away, and she took the blow. So yeah, that was another death. That was great. That was, yeah. I feel like if they would have moved her away, that they would be able to treat her small wound instead of sitting there and cradle her. But no, someone's willing to try to stab away Wu Zhan. I don't know, probably for the glory, but she pushes him away and he took the blow. I don't know if that person, I don't know who stabbed Yan Li or tried to stab away Wu Zhan, and I don't know if he's been punished or not, but I get the feeling that he's not, because again, he blamed Wei Wu Zhan. It's all Wei Wu Zhan's fault. Everything is Wei Wu Zhan's fault, apparently. The only person who doesn't seem to blame Wei Wu Zhan is Lan Wanxi. He supports and respects what Wei Wu Zhan is doing, because even he says so. It's like, yeah, he may be reckless, but is he wrong though? As most cases, he's very right. He has a point. It's just people just don't want to listen to him. I don't know. It's all very confuzzled. It's all very strange. Then I'm trying to think of what else happened next. As I said, lots of things has happened. I was like, I don't know how to go about this. Oh, yes. There's another death. There are other deaths as well. So remember I said that Wei Wuxian took the Wen clan survivors to burial mounds so that they'd be able to survive somewhere with shelter and food. Yeah, well, that didn't last long because of people constantly looking for Wei Wuxian, not really forgiving him for killing half of the Jin cultivators, Jin Sichuan being included in that amongst them. People holding a grudge against Wei Wuxian, and because Wen Ning was the one that killed Jin Sichuan as well as killing other cultivators, Wen Qing thought it would be best to go to Jin clan of Lanling and surrender to them. Yeah, so Wen Qing is gone. Wen Qing is gone. And I was very confused about this bit because they got Wen Qing and Wen Ning in, as well as the other Wen clan survivors. And they said that they have cremated Wen Qing and Wen Ning. But in the present, Wen Ning is still alive. Well, not alive, just he's walking around. He has his body. So I would like to know how that works. So yeah, I was genuinely a bit confused by that because it did say that Wen Ning and Wen Qing has been cremated, but in the present day, Wen Ning is still fighting, still walking, still talking, still has his body parts around. So I don't know. I don't particularly know. But then we can move on. But then we move on to the present day. And the present day was interesting to say the least. So remember when back in the previous books, we have been suspecting Jin Guanyao to do some evil things. And that still hasn't gone away. So people have been suspecting Jin Guanyao, particularly Wei Wuxian and Lan Wanji. So they went to remember they went to the fragrance hall in a golden carp tower. I think it's Jin Guanyao's bedroom. And Qing Su was not happy, really not happy. This is Jin Guanyao's wife, of the letter that she read that made her feel physically sick, makes her extremely angry, makes her very, very upset, and saying a lot of awful things to Jin Guanyao, saying, I wish I never met you. I would rather die than ever be with you. And most of those things. Well, we'll get into that a little bit. There's some things going on. And as well as going to the Forbidden Hall in Lankan of Gusu, where we figured out that Jin Guanyao was very musically gifted when it comes to using the Jichen? The 7-string Jichen. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Guchin? I don't know. But being able to manipulate people's minds, of making them calmer or making them happier, but also being able to manipulate the notes into adding music of turmoil. I don't know what it's called, but it's called music of turmoil. Chords from the music of turmoil to be able to make a person feel pain or feel angry or feel temperament, or even willing to go so far to hurt themselves or to hurt others. So it could potentially lead to death. And they figured out that Jin Guanyao has manipulated music so that he'll be able to put parts of music of turmoil into like songs of clarity in order to shake up. This is at Ni Mingshui, by the way. So Ni Mingshui died, they presume from a cultivation accident, but he was the one who got exceedingly angry and temperament from Song of Clarity that Jin Guanyao performed for him. And yeah, they kind of put 2 and 2 together. Now this has happened the previous books, and the reason why I'm talking about this now is because it leads up to the present day, where Wei Wuxian and Lan Wanji, cultivators, were helping cultivators battling against puppets. Again, battling against puppets. There was a lot of puppets. And when I say puppets, I meant like corpses being controlled, not like actual puppets. I'm hoping you get that. Fighting against puppets, and during that battle, their spiritual power, every cultivator's spiritual power is suddenly gone. It's suddenly disintegrated. They can't perform any spiritual activities. So they end up having to be trapped in a cave away from the puppets until they can figure this out. And the doctor says, don't worry, the golden core that helps with their spiritual powers is perfectly fine. It's normal. You still got it, but your spiritual powers is temporarily shut down, and it could take 4 hours. And everyone's like, yeah, what are we going to do for 4 hours? We're kind of be surrounded by puppets. But Wei Wuxian had figured out that Sushi has a Jichin, and he was playing songs to help people in battle. And he asked the Lan clan if they notice anything sounding strange or sounding off with the things that he's saying. And everyone in Lan clan is like, yeah. But they just assumed that he was playing it wrong, and it didn't matter because the instrument is hard to play. Or is that he's just not as well gifted as Lan Shan is, or Lan Zishui is. But Wei Wuxian goes on to say, is it a mistake though? He played it wrong, but is it a mistake? And remember what I said about music of turmoil, and that these chords could be integrated into other songs. That's exactly what he did. So the chords that he played within the battle song that that we're supposed to play ends up taking away people's spiritual powers, possibly under Guan Yao's order. And people are not happy. I mean, they kind of still blamed Wei Wuxian first for controlling the puppets, but he said, nope, didn't control those puppets. I didn't take your spiritual power. Why the hell would I do that? And I did not kill anyone. Well, he did kill people, but he didn't do the things that they keep accusing him of. But Sushi, he figured it out, and yeah, they were not very, very happy. So once the spiritual powers came, they tried to finish the battle. I don't know I can't remember what happened to Sushi though. I'm trying to remember, but yeah. They figured out that Jin Guanyao may have been a part of this because Jin Guanyao was the one that went down into the Forbidden Library in the Lan Clan of Gusu, got the turmoil, and he might have shared that with another person, which is what Wei Wuxian expected. So after that, they decided to go to the Lotus Pier to talk with Jiang Cheng and have this meeting about what happened, and even just relaxing, because it must have been very, very difficult. It must have been a difficult journey after a difficult battle. But then they end up having some visitors that Jiang Cheng was long to talk about for very good reasoning. He has hard-earned putting them under investigation and questioning them with everything, because what they said may shock you. And I will be honest, this took me a while to read through. It took me a while to read through. I was physically sick reading this a bit. And as I said, it is triggering. It has a mentions of the R word and mentions of other things. So I'm not going to go into details because it's very, very sickening. But these two women really put on hard set of how evil Jin Guanyao was. So one woman who firstly speak was a sex worker. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that in YouTube. I don't think I do, but she was a sex worker, and she explained that her and she calls other prostitutes sisters. So her and her sisters have been given money in advance to go to somewhere where the person who gave them money to meet, and that he would be giving them orders, and they were greeted by Jin Guangshan. I don't know if you know Jin Guangshan, the previous leader of the Jin clan of Lanling, who was Jin Sichuan's father, who was deathly sick and half dead, and Jin Guanyao ordered them to do whatever they want with him. I'm not going to go into detail with that. That is all you're going to get from me. I hate it so much. I couldn't read through that. Well, I did read through that, but it took me forever. And the second woman that was there, the second woman who's ready to talk to the cultivators was, remember Qin Su, Jin Guanyao's wife? So she is the personal handmaid of Qin Su's mother from that clan. And she has stated that, well, Qin Su and Jin Guanyao happily married. They were happily in love. They're ready to get married. But her mother is not very happy. As a matter of fact, she was in complete distress. And the handmaid has just assumed, you know what, she's probably, sad that her daughter is going to go off, we're going to get married, have her own life and things like that, which is understandable. I was like, yeah, that's pretty understandable. And she thinks that everything will be fine and dandy after Guan Yao and Qin Su got married. The mother is very much not happy at all, and told the personal handmaid everything. Jin Guanshao was Guanshan, sorry, I'm getting the names wrong. Guan Yao's father forced himself onto the mother. Don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Forced himself onto the mother, and Qin Su is potentially Guan Shan's daughter, which means that Qin Su and Guan Yao were siblings. Great! And someone in the meeting put 2 and 2 together and saying that Guan Yao may have killed his son. So I think that was at that moment that Qin Su put 2 and 2 together and figured it out. So yeah, that's why she was physically ill when she read the letter from someone. Oh, and also that the personal handmaid, she was the one that sent Qin Su the letter about all of that, about everything. Yeah. So that was great. Yeah, I can't get over that. That was a lot to take in. Even though there was some deaths and some horrible moments going on there were some very wholesome moments as well. So there was a lot of turning points. I really, really love the twists of all of that has happened, even the most difficult ones to read through. So yes, it really put into perspective how disgusting and how evil Guan Yao is. And when we first met him, he was a jolly bloke. He was lovely. But yeah, it turns out he was not as nice as he tried to perceive. So yeah, so it shows a lot about Jin Guan Yao's character, and now we hate him. He's a fantastic villain, very clever, very cunning, but we hate him. Now, despite all that turmoil, you see what I did there? Despite all the turmoil, that's what happened. We had some deaths, we had some war, we had constant blaming on Wei Wuxian, a constant being deceived, constant, obstacles. There are some wholesome moments. One of my favorite wholesome moments is the journey back from the cave to the Lotus Pier in the boat, where Lan Zishui is starting to reflect on his past. On his past, and ends up connecting with Wenning. Other junior cultivators were still unsure about Wenning. He's a corpse, he's a puppet, he's controlled by Wei Wuxian. They probably were raised by Wei Wuxian's story, so probably say things like, don't go to the woods on your own, otherwise Wei Wuxian will eat you, and things like that. So they were still a bit skeptical of Wenning. So apart from Lan Zishui, he said that he does not know why, but he feels comfortable around Wenning, and they just end up having a really nice talk together, particularly talking about Lan Zishui's past, because the little child that with the Wen clan survivors and constantly likes to hug people's legs whenever he likes them. That's the child. That's Lan Zhaoshui when he was a child. And there's just a nice, wholesome moment. It's very simple, but very, very sweet. And I do generally really like that. There is also like a lot of progression of the relationship between Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangji. There are some heated moments between those two in an intimate way, not as like a attention angry way, in an intimate way. So there is a lot of intimacy between those two. So yeah, that's happened right at the end. And yeah, it had definitely progressed. As I said, there was a lot happened, and I very much enjoyed the roller coaster that this volume had put me through. As I did not like I did like the previous volume, but I didn't like how jagged it was. It's still jagged between past and present, as I said, but this one, because the past is becoming so close to the present and everything is coming together nicely, I really enjoy the flow of this volume because everything is started to connect, started to make absolute sense, particularly with Jing Guanyao. As I said, Jing Guanyao, we thought that Jing Guanyao was nice, was respectable, was lovely, but no, he was evil, he was terrible, he was disgusting, and yeah. And killed, and in my personal opinion, killed his father in the most brutal way as possible. Yes, the guy was awful, but I don't think anyone deserved that. That was a lot. And yeah, I don't know how to explain. I don't know what to say about that. It still baffles me. It really did. Do not know what to say to that. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. But I tell you what, those moments, those wholesome moments, like between Wen Ning and Lan Zishui, and as well as meeting this sweet little child playing with the toys, and the intense intimacy between Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangji really makes going through those major moments worthwhile, particularly those hard moments where it did make me feel a little bit sick. But overall, I absolutely love this volume. This is probably my favorite volume so far because I was hard reacting this. I was genuinely very, very sad about the Jiang Yanli's and Wen Qing's death. I thought that was a lot to take in. Wen Qing is my favorite character. I do generally love her. I think she's a very strong woman, but it's just a shame that it didn't show much of what a great character she was in the books. She would have been great. So I was a little bit sad. As well as Jin Zixuan's. I was surprisingly sad about Jin Zixuan's death because his character progression, I did generally enjoy reading. He was snobby at first, but ends up being an amazing husband and father and just a family man. And if he was still alive, I think he would have been a great clan leader as well. So that made me very sad. And Jian Cheng's progression, we can kind of see of why he was constantly so angry in present. So I can imagine seeing his sister's death was a lot to take in, as well as taking guardianship for Jinling, Yanni's and Sichuan's son as well, at just 1 month. At just 1 month! The poor child was 1 month when he lost his parents. How did I not think of that? Oh well, so yeah, so we can kind of see the progression up to the present day. Everything is coming together very nicely, and I'm really, really looking forward to getting volume 5. I don't know when I will get volume 5. Volume 5 has just recently got out this month, and it's really hard to get because people are constantly buying it, and so the bookstores is constantly getting out of stock. So, but hopefully later on I will get volume 5. And I will read it sometime in the future, definitely. So in the meantime, I'm going to read some other books. I might take a break from Chinese BL fantasy a little bit because I've been reading this series nonstop and I would love to finish it, but I think I'm going to take a bit of a break from it. So I'm going to read something out of that genre. Just so I can get back into it again, because I want to read Heaven's Official Blessing next. I know I got Scumville and Self-Saving System, and I want to read that, but I also want to... But Heaven's Official Blessing is being super, super hype. Everyone's been hyping about it, and I really, really would like to read it at some point. So I'm going to start that after reading my break book. I don't know what you call books that you want to take where you read so you could take a break from the series. I call them break books. Do you call them break books? I don't know. But let me know, for people who have read, if you've read this book, let me know what you think. I very much enjoy it. This is definitely a 5 out of 5 stars. There's so many turning points, so many answers. So many answers has been explained. There's so many questions has been answered. That's what I'm trying to say. So many questions has been answered. A lot of turning points. The past, the present is coming together very nicely. A lot of wholesome moments. A lot of moments that will make you react very quickly. I think it's a very good writing if it makes you react, and I definitely react in this one, very much so. So if you finish volume 3, immediately go to volume 4. You will love it. And then hopefully volume 5, all of the pieces would come together, and then everything would be happy and everything would be amazing. At least I hope. At least I hope. But yeah, that is for me today for the review. I do hope you very much enjoy it. As I said, there was spoilers there, so if you haven't read it, I do hope that you do get the chance to read it, because I would like to understand from your perspective as well, from your opinions and your comments about what you think, because I am very, very interested. Even if you have different opinions of me, I really like to hear your thoughts. But yes, do take care. Do have a wonderful rest of your day. Don't expect any videos from me pretty soon, probably in the next 4 weeks, because I will be away. I will be away to Japan in the next 2 weeks. Then I'll take a bit of a break the week after, and then I'll be away at my parents' for my mom's birthday and Father's Day. So just to let you know. But hopefully in the meantime you'll be able to get the chance to read these books, and I can't wait to hear from you. But yeah, do take care. Do have a wonderful rest of your day, and hopefully I shall see you very, very soon. Do take care. Bye bye.